Alex Borstein. You're playing Susie, a bohemian, crusty sort of personality, a bit lost, manager of a comedy club, always wanted to be manager of a comic. And you find what you believe is a treasure when Midge Maisel stumbles onto the comedy club stage, seems to be a natural stand-up comic. You encourage her to go into the business, you become her manager, and then you become her friend. You are an accomplished actress. You're a writer. You've done stand-up yourself. And now you're playing Susie on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. So you heard the way I described your character.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe it? Where do you think I'm a little off?
I don't think she's lost. You used the word lost. I don't
You don't
think
think
she's
so?
lost. No, I think she's exactly where she wants to be.
Interesting.
I think she wants to be in the underbelly, counterculture, literally underground, and happy to be there. And I don't know that she necessarily knows she wants to be a manager of comedians. I think she has come to find out she's good at spotting talent,
Mm-hmm.
and wants to be a curator of art, I think, and she sees Midge as a piece of art.
Interesting. There's a scene where you go into you crash a Friars Club, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you meet with a person who is described as the premier manager of comics. And you ask him for help and advice and guidance. And he tells you to come and meet him again. And so far the episode where you do if you do is not yet out for me to see. But it seemed to me like your character, that Susie, was in fact feeling that she needed somebody to tell her what the heck to do now that she'd found what she believes is this gem. Is that about right?
Yeah, I think she, always knew she wanted to play a role in this business and be able to spot talent. And then when she sees Midge, it kind of all becomes clear. Like, this, I think, is my destiny. This is what I'm meant to do. This is the person, the rest of the world has to know this person's talent, and I'm going to deliver it. Because no one else is going to take a shot on a female stand-up, so I got to do it. But then realizing, holy crap, I have no idea how to do this.
Yes. What do Amy and Dan tell you about your character? And how much freedom did they give you to try to craft anything you wanted to craft inside the character they wrote?
Amy says she wrote it with me in mind, which is
Very
why...
flattering.
Very. That's why she's such a foul-mouthed little girl. I knew Amy knows what she wants from beginning to end. So she's got in her head, I'm sure, exactly the whole journey for Susie. All I wanted to add when I met with them was, I really want to convey in some way that Susie is in love with Midge. Not necessarily, is she a lesbian? It's not that it's a physical...
I understand.
But this is just a true, wonderful romance.
Yes.
Of the ages between these two people. And you don't get to see that a lot, two women that complete each other and help each other and want to succeed for each other. And so that was my 2 cents.
That's
that she's really in love
Alice.
with her and fascinated by this creature. And,
Yes.
And Amy was like, I completely agree.
I just saw the scene where Midge wants you to be her friend, and Susie seems to resist, and it's over French fries.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end,
Susie
Susie begins to... Was it a hard
That was
scene?
a very difficult
Tell
scene.
Tell me.
It was just very hard to get the tone right, of exactly that. How much do I let her in? How friendly can I be? How much my guard do I let down? And when I do, how should I deliver it? Those are tough ones.
It was exquisite.
Oh, good.
It was a very moving, sweet scene.
Well, I got to eat a lot of fries, too. Those are my favorite scenes.
Uh-huh. Both of your parents were mental health professionals.
They were mental. I thought you were going to end it there. They still are. Yeah.
Uh-huh. You were brought up where?
Rachel and I are both from Highland Park,
Yes,
Illinois,
isn't that amazing?
and then Deerfield, and then Los Angeles. So lots of places I was sprinkled.
So their daughter decides she wants to be an actor. How do they feel about that?
When you're Jewish, you start performing at the Passover Seder. Those were my first performances, and
4 questions?
yes, and I think they knew at an early age that I had a knack for something. I saw that the power of getting a laugh. I was the comic relief in the family, but we never thought I could really do that for a living. My mother was hugely supportive. You're the best. You're the best at everything. You're incredible. You're amazing. My father was always like, yes, but what are you going to do for money? Yes, but what are you going to do for a living? So that kind of, you had to go to college and you had to major in something else and have
did.
something else. But yeah, I don't think none of us really thought I could do this for a living. Mm-hmm. It's a miracle. It's the miracle of Hanukkah. I've burned now for 8 decades.
Were they scared for you?
Yeah, I think my dad's still nervous. He's always nervous about any money I spend and what if it doesn't last? What's going to happen? What are you going to do?
Although you've been very successful.
Knock on
Time
wood,
after
I've been
time.
very lucky. I've been very lucky.
There's a degree of luck, but you're very talented.
Well,
But wait, they gave you the hat?
which hat?
The hat you wear?
Susie's hat?
Yeah.
The literal hat. I thought it was figurative. I'm like,
What I mean is...
yes, my father handed me the hat.
No. I want to know whether when you entered the costume, they said, and you're wearing this hat.
No, I wanted a hat. I was very adamant. A couple of the pictures that I found that I sent to Amy before kind of deciding what she should look like, a couple of them had hats. Shorter hair and hats, and I wanted suspenders, and I wanted very comfortable flat kind of a work shoe and kind of dungarees of some sort. So I very specifically knew that I wanted that. But Donna, our costume genius, they found those sweaters that I wear, which to me is the perfect touch. It looks like they outfitted me from like the 1958 Husky Boys section of a Sears catalog. Mm-hmm. The little stripes, and there's something very childlike, boyish that I really like.
Alex, if you had a choice between being in a sitcom or a series, and this really isn't a sitcom, but as a series, or doing stand-up, which would you rather do?
Series.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay. And would you rather act or write?
The writing is so hard. It's so much harder. It's the hardest thing in the world. But ultimately it might be more satisfying. And I think it's probably what I'll do more. I think that's where the longevity is, on camera work.
Talk to me for one moment about growing up Jewish. What kind of Jewish home did you have?
Very clean Jewish home. My mother was obsessed with cleanliness. We had a room you weren't allowed to sit in.
Is this true?
Oh, of course. The nice room. My father was Orthodox. My father was raised Orthodox. And my mother is a Holocaust survivor from Budapest. So she has a very deep sense of being Jewish. And he had a very deep set of traditions and rules. So in that way, they were very compatible. But otherwise, it's kind of a crazy match. We were not raised Orthodox. It was pretty conservative.
Did you have a
had
bat
2
mitzvah?
sets of dishes.
Kosher home?
Kosher home. I had a bat mitzvah, yes. I went
was
to a private Jewish day school and learned Hebrew.
Which one?
In Chicago, it was called Solomon Schechter Day School.
Sure.
And then when we moved to Los Angeles, it was Abraham Joshua Heschel Day School.
So you were just a plain Jewish kid?
A very plain Jewish kid.
But you were funny already, right?
A Marshall's, Loman's shopping, chunky little Jewish kid.
Your bat mitzvah ceremony, do you remember it with fondness?
I do. Yeah, my dad taught me my Torah portion, which was fun. And we had the party in my backyard.
Lovely.
Service at temple and then the party in the backyard. And it was pretty fun. At that point, I had switched to a public school. I got very tired of the private school. And I begged them to send me to public school.
Why do you think that was?
I just needed some culture and some
Yes.
color and some flavor. It just
Diversity
felt
too.
diversity. It felt very yes and right. We all know the Shema. What else is there? So I loved that. Like, my bat mitzvah, the people that were invited ran the gamut. You know, it was kids that had never seen or heard of a Jew before, and it was really fun to kind of introduce that world to people.
And what about now, as an adult? Where are you in that? And where's your Jewishness in you now?
I'd say it's about an 8.
Very impressive.
Well, you don't know what the high number is, but I have 2 kids. I have a son and a daughter.
Oh, Maisel, that's very
And,
well.
you know, they do I'm having them do Hebrew school and not private full-time day
Where do
school.
you live?
I live in Barcelona.
In Barcelona, your kids are going to Hebrew school in Barcelona?
No, actually, right now they're not going to Hebrew school because we're there. But before that, it was in Pasadena, California. But yeah, we belong in Barcelona to a Jewish organization there, and
Lovely.
getting our Jew fix. One of 6,000 Jews in a city of 2 million. So it's a small community, but
Okay.
a strong one.
You're-
I still don't eat pork. That's my daily reminder of being Jewish. I don't go to temple every week, but I do the high holidays, and I love the traditions. I do Shabbat every Friday night. Have a challah.
That's lovely.
Found the one place in Gracia where I live that has a challah.
That's lovely.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's lovely. You know, very many, often when one talks to actors, there is a universalism to the acting profession. And you are playing different characters, and you're all over. And very often, an actor who is running here, there, and everywhere, somehow the Jewishness falls away. It's interesting to me that for all you've done and all your creativity, you've been able to maintain a real sense of Jewish identity, not only for yourself, but for your children.
Yeah, well, I've kept all the good parts, my favorite parts. I want them to have, and Shabbat was one of those. That Friday night to have family and unwind, and let's face it, the challah. It's all about the challah. But yeah, that was kind of important to me to have that. When life gets nuts and you're doing this, and everyone has different events and after-school activities, you always have that Friday night to come together, and I like that.
One last thing. Your mother's a Holocaust survivor. Often survivors, it affects them their entire life. Do you think your mother has a hard time even after she survived? And did it affect you?
She was a child during it, and she wrote her thesis when she went back to school at a later age to go into the mental health field, and her thesis was about the mental effects of being a child Holocaust survivor. Mm-hmm. So she's really delved into that and looked at that. There's a lot of similarities they have, a lot of personality traits that a lot of these child survivors mm-hmm. have. And yeah, that's part of probably another reason why Judaism is very important to me to keep going, of knowing that the flame was almost extinguished, not by our choice. So it feels like very important to me to keep the candle burning and pass it along, and have all of my family that was wiped out, have it not have been for nothing. If you're not going to hold on to that, what was the point? So yeah, I think it has absolutely affected our lives, but it's also made her, and my grandmother was too, two of the funniest women I've ever met, and survivors, and strong.
And that's also your heritage.
And interesting, absolutely.
Yes. I was so looking forward to meeting you, and it was better than I thought
Really?
it would be. Even better.
Wow.
Oh, wait, do you remember the 4 questions?
Yes.
Do the first line.
Ma nishtana halayla hazeh mikol haleilot. Mikol halelot,
Mitsuya.
shebechol halelot. I could go on and on.
You are I wish you all the best. Kol tuva hatzlacha, they say in Hebrew. Only success and joy for you. And maybe there'll be other times we get to sit together. The program is fabulous. You're fabulous. Best of luck with the marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.